Banyoles is a town of about 20,000 in the Catalan province of Girona. It is home to the famous Lake of Banyoles. Neanderthaloid de Banyoles? In 1887, workers at a limestone quarry near Banyoles discovered a jawbone. A local pharmacist was called in to extract the specimen from the quarry rock. Senor Per Arcias was a pharmacist by day and an avid naturalist on his off time. He explored caves in Catalonia, uncovering specimens from the Magdalenian lithics culture of the Upper Pleistocene. He was a passionate historian, collector of Spanish antiquities, and an admirer of literature. Senor Arcias examined the specimen of Banyoles and wrote up a report. The fossil was widely assumed to be another Neanderthal bone. It was filed away at a local museum and largely forgotten about. Senor Arcias died in 1915. The Banyoles Jawbone Mystery. Museum authorities decided to take another look at the fossil. Two investigadores were called in, Señores Hernando Pacheco y Hugo Obermayer of the Comisión de los Paleontológicas. The investigadores issued their report. They concluded that the mandible belonged to a Neanderthal, largely based solely on the receding or non-existent chin. In one section of the report, Arcias had seemed to suggest that the lack of a chin may have been a result of the person's old age and resulting loss of teeth. Curiously, the investigadores also noted that the specimen, quote unquote, was dropped during photographing in Senor Arcias' laboratory. It is unclear whether the pharmacist himself dropped the jawbone, one of his lab assistants, or the photographer. The exact text reads as follows: Un accidente al fotografiar la mandíbula ocasionó la ruptura de parte de la cara anterior, pero sin interesar al arco basal. Translation: An accident while photographing the mandible caused the rupture of part of the anterior face, but without affecting the basal arch. In another section of the report, the investigadores write that they are basing their findings on a second-hand report from unpublished notes sent by his son, Don Jose. It is entirely possible that they were providing cover for Senor Arcias. En español, como el accidente que se ha relatado fue posterior al estudio, se ha podido comprobar de manera indudable la falta casi absoluta de barbilla. English translation: As the accident that has been related happened after the study, it has been possible to verify without a doubt the almost absolute absence of a chin. The investigadores were suggesting that the accident happened after Dr. Arcias had already examined the jawbone and written down his notes. While their conclusions seem to be entirely plausible, it is equally plausible that they are covering up the amount of damage to the specimen as a result of the laboratory accident. Consideration should also be given to the politics of the day. Spain, under conservative Catholic rule, remained neutral during the Great War, 1914 and 1919. However, Spain and Great Britain were great imperial rivalries in the early 1900s. Piltdown Man had just been announced in England. Piltdown would later prove to be a giant hoax. The specimen turned out to be an orangutan jaw with a 600-year-old man's skull stained antique brown. The Banyoles jaw, damaged by carelessness, might have proved embarrassing for Spain and a blow to Spanish nationalist pride. The museum authorities, in league with governmental authorities in Spain, would have every incentive to suggest that there was no damage to the specimen. Banyoles man, Neanderthal or Homo sapien? In all this time, there has been one single issue keeping the Banyoles specimen from being classified as Homo sapien: the chin or lack thereof. Paper 2007, Facial Ontogeny in Neanderthals and Modern Humans. Neanderthals are very large-brained with large and projecting prognathic faces. Their mandibles lack a chin. But, as noted in a more recent paper from 3 evolutionary researchers, there has long been a fundamental disagreement as to the importance of the chin characteristic in defining Homo sapiens. Study: what is a trait? Lessons from the human chin. The chin, a distinguishing feature of Homo sapiens, has sparked ongoing debates regarding its evolutionary origins and adaptive significance. Adding to the confusion, some hominid cranium lack a chin but are still classified as early Homo sapiens. From a paper published in 2018, Madeline Grant, PhD. The skull remains do not appear to have chins, yet skull and the other Israeli specimens are classified as Homo sapiens. Quam and Keely. After 100 years, a team from the University of Binghamton, New York, decided to take another look at the Banyoles specimen using CT scanning. Their paper was released in January 2023 by PhD candidate Brian Keeling and his academic advisor, Professor Ralph Quam. Reassessment of the human mandible from Banyoles. They note, the lack of chin structures also complicates an assignment to Homo sapiens, although early fossil Homo sapiens do show somewhat variable development of the chin structures. Their conclusion: Banyoles represents a non-Neanderthal late Pleistocene European individual and highlights the continuing signal of diversity in the hominid fossil record. Quote, if Banyoles is really a member of our species, this prehistoric human would represent the earliest Homo sapiens ever documented in Europe, end quote, said Keeling, Binghamton EDU News. Banyoles, the critical link to earlier Proto-Europeans. For decades, the academic elite sought to repress any alternative hypotheses to out-of-Africa total replacement theory. But the Pabo discovery of Neanderthal DNA in the modern Eurasian genome in 2010 was extremely damaging to the recent out of Africa replacement model. In 2019, Chris Stringer, Katerina Harati et al. Released their paper announcing the redating of the Epidema 1 fossil, Homo sapien skull, discovered in Greece to 210,000 years ago. The Epidema 1 fossil redating was a major blow to recent out of Africa. Left anthropologists shifted their narrative. The new fallback position: no continuity in Europe from early European modern humans to later post-glacial maximum populations. But a couple of new papers suggesting early European modern humans survived the last glacial maximum in Western Europe is causing the recent out of Africa advocates to retreat on that front as well. One of those papers was released in 2023 by lead author Vanessa Villalba Moco de la Universidad de Madrid. A 23,000-year-old southern Iberian individual links human groups that lived in Western Europe before and after the last glacial maximum. Banyoles could be the evidence of a crucial link from Cro-Magnon to later populations of late Pleistocene Europeans. More fossils similar to Banyoles in southern Europe? Professor Roberto Saiz, we already have 3 possible representatives of a surprisingly ancient presence of Homo sapiens in Western Europe. A tooth from Right-Anthro, France, the Banyoles mandible in Spain, and the Epidema 1 skull in Greece. And there are 2 other specimens that could be added to that list: Soprano man and Homo sardiniensis in Italy. The Soprano skull was discovered in 1994 in southwest Italy. It was recently redated with surprising results. Another recently discovered fossil from Sardinia is shrouded in mystery. We will be delving into the Soprano and Sardinia fossils and other mysterious Mediterranean region hominid fossils coming soon to this channel. Thank you for watching. This particular video required a lot of deep dive research. Please show your support for the channel by subscribing and hitting the like button. Thank you. See you soon.